A new study suggests that fitness trackers, such as the Fitbit, may not help you lose the weight that you want. Researchers found that overweight young adults who didn't use the trackers dropped more pounds than those who did. The study ran for 2 years, and it was published today in the Journal of the American Medical Association. It was carried out by researchers at the University of Pittsburgh. It included more than 450 overweight and obese young adults. John Jakicic and his colleagues did that research, and he joins me now from Pittsburgh. So, John, these devices are pretty popular, yet your study finds that they actually may not work or may not be as effective as we thought. Why is that?
It's a really good question. We actually went into the study thinking that we were going to find just the opposite, that they would actually be more helpful. So we've had to step back and think a little bit, and it may be that maybe we're putting so much emphasis on paying attention to what these devices are telling us that we're not paying as much attention to the other things that matter when it comes to weight management, your eating behavior, other types of things that really matter. And also, maybe these devices are giving us a false sense of security. Hey, look at how much activity I did today. I can eat another cupcake. I can eat another cookie. So we have to better understand why this is, but it is intriguing, and it was opposite of what we expected.
And what's interesting about that is you had two groups, right? You had another group that didn't wear it, and they basically kind of had to monitor their exercise and monitor their eating on their own, right? And so those were the ones that lost more weight?
Yeah, they did. And maybe there's something about the fact that you actually have to be actively involved in doing that as opposed to having some device do it for you. You have to go, oh, I walked 30 minutes today. I did whatever. And so maybe there's something about that personalization, that actual engagement with that process that really makes a difference for individuals. At least that's what our studies suggest.
And so what's interesting also is that the people in the study, they were between 18 and 35, and they were either overweight or obese. So what do you think the results would be for people with average builds?
So that's a very good question. We're not sure. I mean, for one thing, we used these younger adults with the hope that maybe they would be more kind of interested in using technology. We don't know what would happen if we had people who were kind of in the normal weight category. And so we want to be careful about saying that these things don't work for everyone. We just know in the context in which we used them, they didn't seem to have much added benefit, for sure. In fact, they kind of hurt the success a little bit as well.
So what about the argument, just to be devil's advocate here, that these devices actually help people psychologically to keep track of their progress?
No, there's a lot of benefits to this. And I think what we want to make sure is that the audience understands we're not telling people not to use these devices. There's a lot of reasons that you want to use a device like this. I think what we want to be careful about is telling the public, if you get one of these things, that's really all you need to do. There's so much more that goes to controlling your weight and changing your behavior in addition to just wearing a device like this. And so we have a lot to learn. But if you're using one of these, you like it, it's working for you, by all means, keep using it.
So what kind of, do you have any tips for people in terms of what they should do?
Well, I think in terms of keep losing weight and keeping their weight off, very clearly they need to really keep paying attention to how much food they eat. They need to pay attention to why they're eating, and they need to make sure they're getting enough physical activity. And we think that activity needs to be somewhere between probably 45 and 60 minutes, 5 days a week. And that's a brisk walk at that point in time. It sounds like a lot, but that's what it takes. And understand that, even if you exercise that much, it does not give you the liberty to eat anything that you want. So you got to pay attention to all aspects of this.
John, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much for taking the time.
Thanks so much.
That's John Jakicic is a professor of health and physical activity in Pittsburgh.